Happy birthday guys and welcome back to another video. Today is an educational day. Today we're going to be learning all about honey in PokeMMO. How it works, how it's obtained, how it's used, and overall, how good is farming honey, how useful is honey. We're going to find all that out today. So there are only actually 3 ways of obtaining honey in-game in PokeMMO. One of them is to buy it off the market, and usually the prices are around 800 Pokeyen per honey pot. The other way to purchase the honey is to visit the receding hairline man above Floroma Town in Floroma Meadow, where you can purchase each honey pot for 750 Pokeyen. These are, however, untradeable. The only natural way of producing honey in-game is using this cute little bee that you see on my screen here, Combee. Combee is the only Pokemon in the game with the ability Honey Gatherer. This allows, well, as it says here, the Pokemon may gather honey from somewhere, and then once you hover over the Honey Gather ability, by the way, sometimes when you hover over abilities in this game, it gives you more information about what they actually do outside of battle. Potential to pick up honey from wild encounters. So what we take from this is that Combee is the only Pokemon in the game that has the ability to generate honey through battling wild Pokemon. So honey is only really used in game for 2 things. You can either sell it if you want to farm it, which, you know, it can generate some money, or it's used on these little yellow trees that are dotted around the Sinnoh region. There are 21 of these trees dotted around everywhere, and it takes them an hour after you spread honey on them for them to bring potentially an encounter for you. The neat thing about PokeMMO is that you can layer each tree up with 3 layers of honey, which does use 3 pots of honey, obviously, but it means that it boosts the potential encounters of each tree per layer of honey that you put on there. So I've lathered this tree up with 3 layers of honey, so we're going to see how many encounters we get. It's not a guaranteed 3 encounter, and it's not 3 of the same Pokemon, as you'll see. But yeah, this is, you know when it's ready because the tree will start shaking, and let's see what we get. Okay, so we laid it up with 3 layers of honey. We only had 2 encounters. So as you can see there, you may put layers of honey on a tree, but it doesn't guarantee that you will get that many encounters, which kind of sucks, given that it does take an hour for the tree to even be ready to have an encounter on it. But I guess that's just how it is. But I'm going to interact with the tree here, and we'll be able to see the menu that it brings up. You can either use 1, 2, or 3 honeys. I always use 3, just because you might as well. So there's 21 of these trees dotted around the Sinnoh region, which means that if all of the trees have honey on them and all of the trees proc all 3 encounters, you can obviously get 63 encounters per hour using this method. It's kind of an interesting sporadic shiny method if you want it to be crazy. Unfortunately, if you do get a shiny off the honey tree, it doesn't have like a specific caught at a honey tree. It just says where the route is that you caught it. I've estimated that you probably are looking at approximately 40, let's say, maybe, encounters per hour using this method. Obviously at a 30,000 to 1 chance of it being shiny, you're looking at a really tough grind to get a shiny off a honey tree. But there's interesting there's rare Pokemon in there. You've got Apom, you've got Munchlax, you've got some pretty cool shinies that could pop out if you're really lucky. But yeah, it's not a very good method for shiny hunting at all. Now that we've spoken a bit about the trees themselves, let's move on to the details about the ability Honey Gatherer. The type of Pokemon that you're battling with your Combee actually matters. So out of the 17 Pokemon types in the game, only Grass, Bug, Ghost, Poison, Normal, Dark, and Dragon have a chance for you to get honey after you finish the battle with them. So that means that you cannot farm honey off of water, electric, flying, fire, fighting, psychic, rock, ground, steel, and ice type Pokemon. All of those Pokemon will not drop any honey if you are battling them with the Honey Gatherer. Dual type Pokemon, even if they contain a typing that you can farm honey from, so say you're fighting a Pidgey or a Starly, and it has the normal type that you can farm from, but because it has the flying type, you will not be able to farm honey from that Pokemon. It has to just contain types that you can farm honey from. I also found through horde testing that you do not get any honey dropped from horde encounters, so you can't use this ability as a method alongside shiny hunting, which is what I was hoping you could do. I did a bunch of different tests, right? I also tested multiple bee testing, where I had my level 100 Combee and a level 95 Combee in my party to see if it would just drop onto that Combee as well. Maybe you can stack multiple honeys off of one encounter. You can't do this. I tested whether running from the battle gives you the chance of getting the honey, because obviously that then takes out a bunch of time of battling. And as in the ability, it just says the potential to pick up honey from encounters. However, running from the Pokemon also doesn't give you a chance of dropping honey. You can pick honey up while your Combee has an item equipped. So, I don't know, you could have like choice specs to make sure that it one hits everything, and the honey will just go straight into your bag once you pick it up at the end of the battle. I also tried battling different levels of Pokemon to see if the higher level Pokemon gave you a higher chance of a drop rate of honey, but I didn't see any fluctuation. To figure out the overall drop rate of this ability, I did 300 encounters, controlled on typings that I knew had the chance to drop honey, obviously. And across the 300 encounters, the first batch of 100 came out at a 14% drop rate, the second batch of 100 came out at 11% drop rate, and the third batch of 100 came out at a 6% drop rate. So after 300 encounters, I was left at a 10.3% drop rate. So I can safely say and conclude that the drop rate of this ability is 10% from battles, which is kind of wild, because in the main games, at a level 100 Combee, it's a 50% chance to drop honey after each battle. So in PokeMMO, obviously, with the economy in mind, they have drastically dropped this down and nerfed it. Let's say you're really efficient and you can make 300 encounters per hour, and you get 30 honeys per hour, 24k, minus listing fees. It's really not a lot at all from farming honey. So overall, guys, I would say that the Honey Gatherer ability is, while being a unique ability, so I mean in that way it's pretty useful. Overall, in terms of making money or looking for an extra venue to shiny hunt through, I would say that the Honey Gatherer ability and honey trees in general probably aren't the one. Obviously you can get encounters off of the honey trees that are worth some money, but there's better farming techniques out there. Honey trees, in my opinion, are not really worth the amount of time that you have to invest into collecting all the honey, then waiting the hour for the tree to proc. It would be interesting though to know if you can get secret shinies off of honey trees. I don't actually know about that. I haven't found any information about that, but that's obviously something that would be kind of interesting to know. As you can't get secret shinies in hordes, obviously, but this is kind of like a different way of getting a 3 horde in a way, or a double battle. So that's maybe something, hopefully maybe somebody can shed some light onto, but it is the only way to naturally gain honey from the game without spending any Pokeyen. So if that's something that you want to do, then I hope this video helped you out. I felt like this video, I wanted to make it because I literally couldn't really find any information out there about this mechanic in the game, and it's a unique ability. So yeah, I thought this maybe could help some people out. So there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one.